Hello there. Katarn here.
And the Bendu.
Coming back for the Mandalorian, Chapter 12.
Yeah, man.
Season 2, Episode 4?
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. It was interesting, because what should have been the poll question should have been if Ahsoka was going to show up this evening, which I personally thought,
I believe she is not. I'm going to go on record and say I don't think we're seeing her this week.
No, we discussed it, and Katarn brought up...
Bendu thinks she's happening. I don't think it's happening yet.
Katarn brought up a good couple points. Not only is Filoni not directing this episode, but he also thinks this is going to be the character wrangle up episode.
So to speak.
You said this is episode 4 out of how many? 8?
It was 8 last season. I think it's 8 again this season.
So we're halfway through, and we still have all of Gideon shit to get through.
Yes. Okay. So the Patreon poll that we asked you guys was, who is the greatest wielder of the Darksaber? Was it Tara Vizsla, Pre Vizsla, Maul, Sabine Wren, Bo-Katan Kryze, or Moff Gideon? And the results are in. Darth Maul, or I guess, and the results are in. Maul is the winner with 23 votes. Coming up behind him is Tara Vizsla with 14 votes. And then Bo-Katan Kryze at 7.
Pre Vizsla was the bald dude, right?
Pre Vizsla was the bald dude.
He got his ass beat.
Leader of Death Watch, voiced by Jon Favreau.
Okay, so thank goodness. I'm so happy. Thank you that. Well, actually, they didn't get to see the reaction. I was gonna say it was it was a very shameful moment, actually.
I mean, if they're responding to the Patreon poll, then they saw a reaction because they saw the full length.
It was my reaction when Bo-Katan showed up.
Oh, right.
It's like I completely brain farted on her name, and I was just like, "Is this Death Watch? I don't get it. This is Death Watch, right?"
We had a lot going on, and technically they were at one point.
Yeah, the reason why I thought that also was because I was thinking of the Pre Vizsla Maul fight when Maul bursts in through the door. He's like, "I challenge you, one warrior to another."
Well, I mean, it's confusing at a glance.
She was there, and their armor set was, well, I guess Death Watch was black and blue. Whereas, the Night Owls, which is what Bo-Katan's crew is, silver and blue,
splintered from Death Watch.
Yeah.
When he became too radical, when Pre Vizsla and Maul started doing their craziness, that's when she splintered off.
Yeah, because Maul brought in that.
It is visually confusing if you just see it at a glance, because they've also given us a flashback earlier in last season where we see Death Watch rescuing baby Din Djarin. And it's just a bunch of blue Mandos, coming down, but they have the House Vizsla clan tag on the shoulder. That's how we knew that it was in fact Death Watch. And now you got a bunch of blue armored Mandos showing back up again. So from face value, sure, you might think it's Death Watch coming back, but as soon as I saw that helmet, man, hoo boy.
Yeah.
Hoo boy.
No, she was gorgeous.
All right, so let's see what the comments are for this. Mike Stevenson says, "Gotta be the coolest character in history, Maul. Everyone loves a comeback story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And is there a comeback story greater than getting cut in half and then stitching yourself together with garbage and almost taking over the galaxy a second time? Becoming a crime lord, at the very least, is an achievement more than most beings in the galaxy ever achieved.
Yeah,
and he was a Sith apprentice, a crime lord. He did it all, man.
He was definitely a Shakespeare. He was a Greek tragedy, is what his story arc was, really.
Yeah.
He was so straight, single-minded the whole fucking time. Maul could never see a bigger picture.
It's totally the story of the tragic hero turned on its head. It's the tragic villain. It's the tragic villain.
Yeah,
you know.
That's pretty dope. I never thought about that.
I do love Maul,
which is sad, but yeah.
And I would say that
a bitch.
Maul is a cool character. The reason people think he's the coolest character in history is because of Sam Witwer's incredible voice acting through the Clone Wars and Rebels. Yeah. I would say that that's right up there with Ray Park in The Phantom Menace in terms of reasons why Maul is a badass. Jared Cantor says, "Can't beat the guy who made it, can you?" I'd also add Kanan, because he wield it momentarily when training Sabine. Yes, he did technically wield it momentarily. I didn't include him because there's already so many options on the list. But yes, this is a vote for Tara Vizsla. And honestly, Tara Vizsla has my vote too, because he made the damn thing. He was also the first Mandalorian to become a Jedi, and even though we don't, not too much of it is documented, it goes without saying that he was a badass.
I'm trying to remember.
That also is not documented.
I'm trying to remember if it was an old age thing or if it was an Elder Wand situation where like
again, that's something else that we don't know.
Fought and then like died.
A lot about his life isn't fleshed out.
Yeah, all we know
we don't
is
know that sort of stuff.
All we know is that he put all of his ego and energy into making the Darksaber look and be what it is, and that's
Sauron
why
style.
That's why it's the only only saber.
You think the Darksaber is like a fucking Horcrux for Terra Vizsla?
If he was a Sith, oh fuck yeah, that would totally be
if
a
Horcrux.
Horcrux.
If he was a Sith, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Hell, in KOTOR you have to deal with all sorts of cursed items and shit.
True.
Yeah.
Truth. It is known. Game Guy 1128 also is going for Terra Vizsla here. I'm going to have to go to the creator and original wielder of the weapon. Every lightsaber is unique to their Jedi. For the Darksaber to be so radically different, Vizsla has to be fire. And who can wield a weapon better than its forger?
This is true.
That's iron logic. That's kind of my rationale for why I think that Terra Vizsla deserves to be referred to as the greatest wielder of the Darksaber.
Like, not only are you a Jedi, but you're a Jedi with a jetpack at that point.
Yeah,
you're a Jedi. You're a Jedi with a jetpack and a flamethrower at that point.
You're what's cool about both elements of Star Wars just sort of put together. You know.
That is pretty OP.
J.D. Onezi, Terra Vizsla for creating it. Maul for wielding it to kill Vizsla's descendant.
Again, Pre-Vizsla is a bitch. Well, I don't know. He was.
I mean, it was a very badass dark side move from Maul to be like, not only will I claim this weapon, I will kill the only person who has any sort of blood claim to it.
Yeah.
You know, he severed
that's
that
how he was charismatic. He wasn't like cult leadery.
It was a dominance move,
which is what I was like appreciative about him. Yeah, he was totally like.
You don't think that Mandalorian was like cult leadery? I mean, sorry, Maul with the Mandalorians.
No, I'm saying Pre-Vizsla wasn't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, even though he wasn't the strongest Mandalorian.
No, you're right. He was more like the leader of a local militia than a cult leader.
Yeah. He was totally like the royal family figurehead for Mandalore versus like I represent the best of.
Looking at the like the political landscape of the Clone Wars with Sundari, and you've got Satine, you've got this pacifist government in place, and then you've got Death Watch over on the moon flying jetpacks and blowing shit up. They're really kind of dope. Well, it's totally dope, but in terms of the politics, they feel like a bunch of right wingers, like off like on a farm somewhere, just like with all their guns, like, you know, fuck the government. Like, that's basically what Death Watch was in the scope of.
Fuck the government. I see them.
Well, they were specifically
Death Watch more as like Ronins.
They were specifically like fuck Duchess Satine because she's in charge and she changed things. They don't like how she changed things. So in that way, I think that like Death Watch are like the Mandalorian rednecks, you know, if you will. At least they were in the time of the Clone Wars.
That's true. That's fine. I thought it was definitely more of like a Sir Francis Drake and Queen Elizabeth relationship where they were like, yeah, we fucking hate you, but
I could see
but
that
for the better of Mandalore sort of situation.
I can see that like, sort of thing too.
Yeah, like we disagree with what you're doing, so we're gonna kick it on this moon and blow people up because we still care about Mandalore. Fuck you, but we care about Mandalore. Is what I thought.
I feel like, and there is some like nobility in there, and there is an honor in their motivations. But I think like the most important thing is that they just like are against the current government and the administration, and they're like, we want to do things our way, the old ancient way of Mandalore. Fuck your pacifist bullshit. We're gonna go fly jetpacks on the moon. Fuck y'all. And that's pretty much that's the main Death Watch note that I have.
True.
Nick's Mechanic says, I love the history of this weapon. Unlike a lightsaber, which is often synonymous with elegance and good, although in the hands of Sith one can definitely make the opposite case, the lineage of this weapon is so powerful and represents the pull between our worst demons and our greatest hopes. I vote Bo because, especially with that lineage and the fact that she too was once Death Watch, makes her one of the most interesting and Arthurian wielders of the blade. That's a very good point.
Koff Dooku's saber is elegant as fuck. Just saying.
Everything about Dooku is elegant as fuck.
Just saying.
Although I was sad to see Sabine offer it to her, because I love Sabine and actually had watched Rebels before the Clone Wars, it makes sense that the sister of the Duchess should lead.
That's pretty fucking cool. That is a wonderful point.
Her training was an excellent montage and probably one of my favorite moments in Rebels.
And the fact that she had Jedis training her to use it.
Check this out.
Like more,
Nick says, she reminds me of Aragorn, a warrior who was a ranger, fought alongside of the Rohan, and returned as the true king of Gondor. The Return of the Queen should totally be a chapter title in the future.
Return of the Queen, bro.
I completely agree. I'm right there with you. Absolute agreement.
That would be fucking cool.
Joe Nagy says, a tough call, but I have to go with possibly the best character in Star Wars, Maul. His determination to survive, even from being cut in half by Kenobi, his cunning, his strength with the Force, and his fighting skill. It's hard not to go with him considering it all. I mean, yeah, Maul is a badass. You'll get no arguments here. He wielded the Darksaber in probably the most atypical period in the weapon's history.
How so?
Everyone else who held it in pursuit of Mandalorian ideals in some way or another. Maul is the only person that I can think of, besides Moff Gideon, who ever held the Darksaber, who didn't give a shit about what happened to Mandalore.
Oh yeah, no, he just possessed it for a power sense.
He used it as a chess
dog
piece.
Whistle.
It was a part of a strategy. It was a
He's
means
like,
to an
haha, I
end.
have your shit.
And then
I have your holy sword.
And then after it all went to
again,
shit,
he
he just like
wielded
left it in his bedroom for like decades. Like obviously he didn't care about it the way that any of the other wielders did. So yes, he is a badass, but for that reason, I don't think he's the greatest wielder of the Darksaber because he is the least connected to what makes the Darksaber special. Serenity Firefly says, gonna go with Sabine, a non-force user plus dual wielded it with the blaster, if I'm not mistaken, in Rebels, and was able to use Ezra's lightsabers as backup in a pinch. And again, a non-force user doing it, which is badass in my book. Yes, Sabine definitely gets extra points for being able to dual wield it with a blaster, and also for not using the force, but still holding her own against force wielders. Sabine, yeah, she's an option.
Gotcha.
Digital Dead Space says Maul, 10 out of 10. I mean, he was a true force wielder. Opposite point. Couldn't comment above it. I think that's interesting. Yes. Thinking back on the list, well, Tara Vizsla was also a force wielder.
Mm-hmm.
But pre-Vizsla, Bo-Katan, all the rest of them, Gideon are not force wielders. God, can you fucking imagine if Gideon turns out to be like force sensitive somehow?
No, well, here's what's funny though. Like everything I'm thinking of Gideon-wise is completely from force combat.
Nice. Yep.
So it's like.
Well, it's because we haven't ever seen him fight.
This is true. We've only ever seen him cut
Force
his way.
combat's the only time you've seen him move quickly.
This is also true. We've only seen cut himself out of a fucking TIE fighter.
Andrew Stansbury says, have to go with Maul on this. Although we don't really know how powerful Tara was, I just can't see any of them beating Maul. It's true. We don't know how powerful Tara was. We've only heard the stories. And I, for one, would absolutely like to see a Star Wars movie about Tara Vizsla. That would be like about the creation of the Darksaber. And about the first Mandalorian to become a Jedi. Like, that would be a badass story.
Kind of on top of that one, I don't have the research time, but anyone out there, leave us a comment about who created the Darksaber. Is this purely a Filoni point, or like was... I don't remember it at all being brought up in Dark Horse.
In meta, production-wise, who created the concept?
Yeah. If it was Filoni,
let us know in the comments.
Or if it was somebody else. Because, I don't remember Dark Horse ever talking about
I am pretty sure it was created...
I mean, not pre-Vizsla.
I am pretty sure it was created by Dave Filoni as a concept when he was working on the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments.
Because I don't know that one.
Richard J. says, while I selected Maul as he bested Pre-Vizsla for control of Mandalore, Ahsoka bested Maul one-on-one in the Clone Wars Siege of Mandalore. As Ahsoka has not been bested by any rival, she is the rightful ruler of Mandalore. So while Maul gets my vote, it is Duchess Ahsoka who is currently and rightfully the ruler and should wield the blade.
That's some Elder Wand's fucking Excalibur, Lord of fucking Sword in the Stone kind of bullshit.
I mean, hey, if you're going to go to the trouble of establishing rules about you hold this thing, you own this, then you might as well follow through with them and follow the logic to the end of it, which I guess in this case would mean that Mandalore's Duchess is Ahsoka. Because it's true, she has not been bested in combat while wielding the blade at any time.
That's true.
Yeah,
she ever
you got to give it to her.
I don't remember her ever wielding it.
When she fought Maul in Siege of Mandalore. Briefly.
I get, yeah.
Claire Isles says,
wielding.
I'm going to say Bo-Katan. Greatest to me doesn't necessarily mean strongest or most powerful warrior. Not only is Bo-Katan a great leader and a great warrior, she also has the strength of her convictions. She was willing to be estranged from her own sister to fight for what she believed in, and when she realized that just blindly following Darth Maul wasn't the right thing to do, she was fully prepared to be ostracized and attacked by the very community she'd already given up so much for. Any way you look at her, she's a total badass. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Bo-Katan does not just have fighting prowess, she has the absolute strength of character and the convictions of her wills. Yeah, she's definitely a worthy contender for the Darksaber for so many different reasons. She's Mandalorian to the core.
Yeah.
To the core.
She has Bard skills. She definitely has inspiration points for sure.
Nix the Gnome says, "This is hard to choose. I picked Tara Vizsla even though we technically don't know much about him wielding it. My reasoning is that 1, he made it, and 2, narratively, Tara could end up being an important plot point for Din. As for coming to terms with the fact that Baby Yoda can be both Jedi and Mandalorian, maybe the history of Tara will help unite these different clans. Anyway, I'm speculating way too much. On a side note, I got teary-eyed when I saw Bo-Katan again and when she said Ahsoka's name. I can't believe how much these characters mean to me." Me too. Me too.
It was a goosebumps moment. Yeah.
Both of them. Bo-Katan taking off the helmet, and then Bo-Katan talking about Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. Like, we all knew it was coming. It's been, like, in the ether for a while, but, like, actually seeing it, actually seeing her, hearing her say the words, made it real.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I can't wait. With the poll concluded, there's nothing else left to do but watch the next episode of Mandalorian, and yes!
I'd find it very ironic in the Tara Vizsla future story if it ends up that somebody killed him with his own sword. Like he's put so much effort into his sword.
Right.
Later for him to get killed by it.
That'd be very Darth Plagueis, wouldn't it?
That'd be very funny, yeah.
The tragedy of Tara Vizsla the Badass.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, without further ado, let's dive into Chapter 12. Do it! They're like dark troopers. I don't even know.
What are those?
But Carl Weathers, you did an amazing job directing this episode. Well done.
Okay. Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's what it just said. Directed by Carl Weathers.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. So no wonder Grief Cargo was featured so heavily in it. That way he gets 2 paychecks. Acting.
Wow.
No, but that was awesome.
That was, yeah. Cool. Exactly. 40 minutes.
It does feel like they're getting a little shorter and shorter. My only hope is that the finale, at least, will be nice and long. But that was awesome. My prediction was correct, and we did not get any Ahsoka at the end. Like I told you, they're saving that honor of the live-action debut for Dave Filoni, and you know what? He deserves it. But yeah, this was a fun episode. The Aqualish in the beginning looked great.
Yes, all the prosthetics for this show have been absolutely.
We've come a long way from Ponda Baba in episode 4 in the cantina with the stupid big goofy rubbery face, and then he got his arm cut off by Obi-Wan.
Yeah. And
now we're seeing them and they're like they looked amazing. That was really cool. We got a lot of intel about Dr. Pershing doing experiments. So they're taking blood from the child and they're infusing
they're taking what did they call it? Obviously, it was midichlorians, but they called it M something.
At the M count. They said they needed blood with a high M count.
With a high M count, yeah.
That's
they were
gotta
trying
be.
To make those
that's
test
clearly midichlorians.
Yeah. Let us know if you think they were Snokes. They're probably not Snokes.
They were not Snokes, but they were whatever the fuck wears those suits at the end that Moff Gideon was walking down a row of.
Yeah.
He's building soldiers that are supposed to have artificial midichlorians, and they will wear that black armor, and then they were going to fuck some shit up.
They definitely did say it was interesting what she said, that you would be rewarded in the new era, which immediately made... There were a lot of things that made me think that, like, this season, or maybe season 3 of Mando might give us some...
The thing about the First Order is that
it
was not something that the rank and file had any idea about. Brendel Hux, Ray Sloan, like single-digit number of people were the only ones that knew about, like, the idea to go to Jakku and create the First Order with Palpatine's secret observatory and, like, all the stuff that happens in Aftermath. Like, it was a pretty well-kept secret.
Gotcha.
So when this random officer, who for all I know that she knows about that plan, but I think that when she says you'll be rewarded in the new era, she's saying when the Empire comes back on top, and just because she thinks that the Empire is going to come back and take out the New Republic and be on top again, and that's the new era that I think she's referring to.
Gotcha. Touche.
But either way, this episode was awesome. I don't know if I'm emotionally ready to watch next week's episode, but we're going to get to that when we get to it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the rest of the channel for more content, reactions, and reviews.
Hit that like button and always leave us a question or comment, because we periodically do community Q&As.
Absolutely.
Also, for those of you who have been asking about this guy, it was created by Barefoot Props. Also, Katarn did a complete review video.
Yeah, we do have a
him
review of the
with all
replica
information.
here on the channel. You can check it out. And I'll drop a link to Barefoot Props' Instagram page in the description of this video, so you can check it out there too. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/KyleKatarn channel. You'll get access to content polls, exclusive videos, full-length reactions, and a bunch of other stuff too. There's also a Discord community. You can find a link to that also in the description of the video. Thanks again. And as always, may the Force be with you.